Thank you guys for tuning in to the Lynn MA Sportscast. I'm Sean Donahue.
And I'm Jessica Starbard. We have an awesome show for you this week. We're going to introduce you to the new head coach of the Lady Bulldogs.
You will also get a good idea of what the state of the athletic department is over at St. Mary's as we talk to Athletic Director Jeff Newhall.
And we're going to show you the new Fraser Field renovation. But first, we're going to check out this week's game of the week.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Fraser Field for Thanksgiving in April. I always say that when the English and classical gets together. This is, if you win no other games during the course of the season, these are the games you want to win, English and classical. Little League and Pup Warner and Babe Ruth, some of them played together. And Kyle O'Connor gets it started. First pitch, he lines it in the right center field for a base hit. Lined in the right center field, that's going to be a base hit. Gradette comes up with a big 2-out single, and Classical gets on the board first. Trot back to the mound. Second for one, back to first. They turn the double play. Nice job by Aracena, the shortstop, to third. They had no chance. Ground ball to deep shot. They don't get him. The infield hit. They throw it away. The arrow moved the runner up to third. They got him picked off. And they throw it away. They had him again, the fourth error in the inning, on the game, for Classical. Good fastball on the corner for strike three. Good curveball again. That's going to be another base hit in the gap. O'Connor has got 3/4 of the cycle. He's got a single, a double, and now a triple. Not bad production from the leadoff hitter. Hit in the air to center field. There's another play. He's made a few of them out there, Napoleon. And English will get first bragging rights.
Now taking a look at news around the city, some personnel changes going on for some of our high school basketball programs. Coach David Leary will be taking over as head coach of the boys basketball team at Lynn Tech. The former Malden Catholic assistant coach is taking over for Marvin Avery, who left last season after 15 years.
15 years, what a career. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the Tech basketball team as he moves on. We wish the best of luck. Also, Rachael Bradley was announced the new head coach of the Lady Bulldogs at Lynn English. We'll get a good idea of what she plans to do with the team as Jess interviews her later.
Absolutely. And the 118th Boston Marathon was run on Monday. American Mev Keflazighi won the prize for the men's race, and Kenya's Rita Jeptu won for the women's race. In total, 24 runners from Lynn ran in this year's race.
Go Lynn. It's also interesting to see this is the first American to win the Boston Marathon. How long?
I think Michael Jackson's Thriller might have been one of the top hits at around that time, so it's been quite some time. So it was really great to see Meb win this year, especially after last year's tragedy.
If you've been to Fraser Field lately, you may have noticed a few changes.
Yeah, I was able to sit down with Navigators GM Bill Terlecki to kind of get an inside look at the new field. A new look for Fraser Field, a $345,000 renovation, now complete and ready to be put to use.
It's just a positive for everybody, fans, players. I think people are going to be amazed when they come to our games this year and they see what's out there. A real plus for the city of Lynn.
Navigators owner Bill Terlecki worked with city officials to get the ball rolling on changing the old turf.
Well, the whole project basically was spearheaded by John Kasayan of the Lynn's Community Development Department, and it's interesting. It was only about a 7-week thing. They started in late October, and we finished up right in the first week in December, right before the snow really hit.
The new field's a great look for fans, but it poses some new challenges for the players.
The biggest thing though is sliding. You're gonna slide a little bit. It's not like on the clay where you're gonna slide and kind of stop. I've seen guys slide right past the base, as they're trying to slide. So you've got to be careful not to slide past and get tagged out. But pretty much it plays like a regular field though.
With high school seasons now well underway, players have taken the field and like what they see.
If you're a high school player and you get to play in a professional type stadium, and now on the state-of-the-art infield. It's a pretty neat thing, it really is. I'm sure it gets you fired up to play.
We're sitting down with Coach Rachael Bradley. She's the new head coach of the Lady Bulldogs over at Lynn English. So welcome to the set.
Thank
How
you.
are you feeling in these last couple of weeks?
I'm honored and humbled to be named head coach at Lynn English High School. I'd like to thank Mr. Strangi and Mr. Malaya for giving me this opportunity, and I'm excited. I'm really excited.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. You know that you were an assistant coach with the program for a number of years. So talk to us a little bit about your background, maybe.
Okay, so I started, I've been playing basketball my entire life. I started coaching back 5 years ago with Fred Hogan, and I played college basketball at Endicott College. So over the past 5 years, I've moved up from the head freshman coach to working for JV and now assistant varsity this past year. And it's been a great experience. It's been a growing experience for myself to, hone my own coaching skills under the leadership of Fred Hogan over the past 5 years, and I'm excited.
Yeah, what's it been like to grow with the program and now kind of get to this level? What kind of experiences do you think that those 5 years have taught you, bringing yourself to now this head coaching position?
Well, I think it's helped me personally to be at each level of the game, both as a player and as a coach. I think it's important to work your way up versus just being thrown into a position and never having any experience. I've enjoyed the ability to see our young girls grow in the program as people and as players. And I think that is the most important thing that you can take away from sports is their growth both personally and athletically. And I've enjoyed that, and I've enjoyed moving through the ranks as a coach and seeing new experiences. Obviously, this past year was a great experience to have, being undefeated, but every year wasn't an undefeated season. So, persevering to get to that level has been wonderful.
Yeah, to kind of piggyback off of that, you had such an incredible group of girls as your last season as an assistant coach.
Yes.
What sort of lessons did you learn from this last group in particular?
I think their mental toughness. We spoke about that multiple times throughout the season, and just seeing, even though we would be down in some games, we always fought back. And I think that was the key to our season and our success was their mental toughness and leadership on and off the court.
And growing up in Lynn, because you played at St. Mary's yourself,
Yes.
what sort of character do you think Lynn basketball has that makes it a little bit different from any other community?
Well, I think you see in Lynn, the rivalries are there still between classical and English, but I also think you see a group of Lynners who support basketball, and I think that's the most important thing. There's so many great things that come from athletics, and I think that in Lynn particularly, we're able to see people come around to support a greater cause.
And you came from a high school in Lynn, then you went off to go play college, and we were just talking about how a couple of girls from the program last year
Yes.
are going to be going and playing college at that next level. What sort of experiences do you think you have as a Lynner that went on to go play college ball that you can help teach these girls as now the head coach?
I feel as though being a Lynner and going off to a small school, a private school out at Endicott College, I feel it can be somewhat of a culture shock at first. And I think my best piece of advice to them is to keep pushing through. Your first year of college is hard for everyone. So that alone, and especially when you're playing a sport, you're no longer the superstar when you're a freshman. And it takes a lot to be humbled, but I think it's a great growing experience for these young people.
And what sort of training aspects did you learn at Endicott that now you're going to kind of help these girls learn what kind of real training goes into having a successful basketball program?
Yes, so the off season is key in every aspect. As a high school athlete, I played 3 sports. I played soccer, basketball, and ran track. And at college, you can only really focus on one sport. And during that off season, you need to develop your game. That's where players are made. And I think that's the most important thing that I can relay to them is that they need to work on their game during the off season. It's not like high school where you can kind of develop 3 sports and choose what you want to focus on in college.
So you learned under Coach Hogan, who had a really incredible tenure. What sort of lessons do you think you're going to take from him as you step into your new position?
Coach Hogan is an amazing guy. He really is. He put his heart and soul into that program, starting at 4-16 and building to a 25-1 season this past year. I think just realizing how important it is to push through even when the times get tough and to rebuild over and over again. And he did that so successfully. He built a family there. He didn't just care about basketball. He cared about these kids' lives on and off the court. And I think that was the biggest thing that I learned coming into this program as a coach, was that it was so much more than basketball.
Absolutely. So we're in Lynn, where we were just talking about how much basketball is kind of a part of the culture here. And you have 3 successful women's programs, just right in the city, 4 rather. Do you think that helps push you guys? Because we were talking a lot this past season about your girls and the St. Mary's girls who had such a successful season on their own.
Yes, I think it does. I think having that competition within the city, I think, is good because it fuels our players to work harder and our student athletes to compete at the next level. And I think at the same time, as much as it is competition, it's also a great way for young athletes, young student athletes, to be able to support each other as well. So I think that culture of girls basketball, particularly in Lynn, is really a growing tradition now.
And at Lynn English, do you ever feel that same competition with the boys team?
I do. I feel as though in any high school sport, you want both your girls and boys teams to be successful, and we had a lot of support from the boys team and vice versa. And I think that's it's competitive, but it's also a supportive environment when it's your own school.
Talk to us about the fandom at Lynn English. What makes the Lynn English fans kind of push your girls and your program to be better?
We had a lot of support in the postseason. I can't say that we had a ton of support in the regular season. We wish we had more. But at the same time, our fans did come along strong in the postseason, and we did appreciate all that they did. They really had the energy and to really support our girls.
You had such a successful group of seniors that are moving on.
Yes.
What kind of things are you guys starting to think about now, thinking about what next year's team's going to look like without them?
So next year is going to obviously be a rebuilding year. I would love to go 25-1 again. I don't know that that's going to be the case, but we're just going to really have to dig in on defense and work on our fundamentals and really start honing our younger kids to step up because, as you know, we have 4 senior starters who are leaving. We're going to look to Sam Holy for a lot of leadership, and Devanya Robinson got a lot of playing time this year as well. So those 2 in particular, we're really going to look to step up. And we have other kids in the program who, unfortunately, on any other team would have had a lot of playing time. But on our team, with the success that we had, really didn't play as much as they would have.
So now those girls will get kind of a bit
more
yes.
time.
And we were talking a little bit earlier about how you guys have a don't cut freshman or give as many jerseys as you have to the freshman girls. Are you going to look to continue that as you step in taking over the helm?
Absolutely. I think especially at the freshman level, you are able to give girls an opportunity to participate in the sport. And when we have 15 uniforms, we use 15 uniforms. And I feel as though that is something I will definitely continue. I feel that that helps to build our program. A lot of the times you don't see the names in the paper of the girls that are seniors. We had 4 seniors this year who really didn't get that much playing time. But at the same time, they have been part of our program since freshman year.
All right, well, thank you so much.
You're
Best
welcome.
of luck as you
Thank
continue
you very much.
and get going with your new season. Now, Sean is going to talk to Jeff Newhall from St. Mary's.
Hello and welcome to the Coach's Corner. Here with me today, talk a little bit about St. Mary's, is Jeff Newhall, Athletic Director. Jeff, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Jeff, now you've been the Athletic Director over at St. Mary's for how long?
This is my 7th year.
7th year, and you guys have been going strong. Every time I go in your office, it's just I see a new plaque, whether it's recognizing a coach for outstanding service or a player or even just a team overall or yourself. So it's obvious to see that you've done a great job over there. Let's talk a little bit about you and what some of your responsibilities are as the Athletic Director at St. Mary's.
Well, I think the number one thing is you kind of oversee the whole athletic program, in which we have 21 different sports. We field 44 teams. Some sports we have a freshman, JV, and varsity level. Some sports are just JV and varsity.
Some sports we have a middle school team, and then some sports is just varsity only. There's a lot that goes into it. Really the only time you know what an athletic director does is if there's been a mistake made, really. When a bus doesn't show up or the referees don't show up or something like that. So there's a lot of advanced planning that goes into it. And then once the season starts, it's really a day-by-day game management thing where we're moving our staff from a baseball game at 4 to a lacrosse game at 7 to a tennis match or whatever it might be. So we try to get to every event each day. But I will say we have had tremendous success. But that's not because of me. I think we have, one of the top coaching staffs in the state across the board, from the fall to the winter to the spring. We have been very lucky to be able to win numerous league championships and state titles, and been in other state title games and Super Bowls. And but like I said earlier, I think it's a tribute to our coaching staff. They work long hours. They work year round. They're a real dedicated staff, and I think the kids at St. Mary's are lucky to have them.
I mean, and it's no secret, we're both wearing St. Mary's gear. So Jeff is actually my boss in the fall and the spring for football and lacrosse. And it's an amazing community atmosphere over there at St. Mary's, which we'll get into a little bit later. But you're right, as a coach over there, you have to, it's not only just, X's and O's. You have to assume the responsibility to lead through example. You have to go in and give those extra hours. And it's really never going to be about the pay. It's about winning. And I think that you've done a great job in instilling that value over there. What are some other values that you instill into your players? You must have somewhat of a relationship with these guys. They must come into your office. I know you have an open door policy for the most part throughout the day. What are some of the things that you talk to these guys about?
Well, I think, sometimes, like right now, this time of year in the winter, our winter sports teams are having a tremendous success. Both of our basketball teams are in the semifinals, and our boys hockey team is in the semifinal round as well. And sometimes you lose focus of why you're at school, because it's an exciting time, and I think some of them think they're full-time basketball players when it gets to this level. But we try to just make sure that they stay focused on what they need to do first, which is to show up to school on time and get their schoolwork done before the after-school stuff comes. Because, last year I think we sent 98% of our senior class to 4-year colleges, and I think that's the most important stat, not 18-2 in basketball. And I happen to be the girls' basketball coach as well, and we have 3 seniors, and they're tremendous players. They've combined for over 3,000 points, but 2 of them got basketball scholarships to UMass Lowell and Caldwell, and the third one, Jenny's going to Tufts University to play basketball. We haven't had a player go to a NESCAC school in a long, long time. So even though they've scored more than 3,000 points and they've won a state title as a freshman, for us, the most important thing is they kept focused, they did their schoolwork. Sometimes they had to be pushed to do it. But at the end of the day, assuming they can finish up in the next 2 months, they're going to go on to a 4-year college, and in some cases as a scholarship player. And I think that's the most important thing. You treat education first and then athletics second. And if you do that, then you'll probably have pretty good success.
Absolutely. I think, family is a big thing over there as well. I was coached by Coach Durgan back at Classical, and I don't know if you can remember your high school days, and no offense or anything like that, but I remember that was all that there was just high school. That's all we cared about. It was, the sports, the girls, school was always secondary. So over there, you can definitely tell that all these kids, they assume that responsibility to go to school. You get, what did you say, 98% of the kids that you had last year all went to 4-year colleges, which is an amazing percentage. So 6 of the sports teams in the winter for St. Mary's right now have either gone to the tournament or are still continuing in the tournament. You guys have some tremendous success this winter.
Yeah, we've had, again, great student athletes with, tremendous coaches. On the track and swimming side, once you get to the tournament, it's more of an individual sport than a team competition. Although there are team titles, but they're for the teams that are qualifying multiple kids across the board. In swimming, we had a freshman, Eve Smith, qualify for the sectional and the state in the 200 IM. And on the indoor track side, we had Tia Foglietta, Zuzu Hafner, and Tony Vincerelli all qualify for the sectionals. So those sports were well represented in the state championships. And then the 4 teams that qualified, our girls hockey had a tough matchup in the first round with Hingham and lost 2-1. But they've had great success. They've won 4 state titles in the last 7 years. They had another successful season at 10-6-6. Our boys hockey team come in second in the Catholic Central Lodge. Just missed out on the Super 8 hockey tournament and is presently in the Division I North tournament, has won their first 2 games and presently sits in the semifinal round. Our boys basketball team went 16-4. They won their first tournament game. They are playing in the North semifinal round as well against Hamilton Wenham. And girls basketball team is, they won the Catholic Central League Lodge outright for the first time ever. Finished the season 19-2, won their first playoff game, and will play in the semifinal round as well against Bishop Fenwick.
Excellent, excellent job, and congratulations to all the student athletes who are part of this. And I must urge you, continue going. The best time to win a championship is after you won your first championship. So stay with that. Now, Jeff, it's obvious you guys have had a tremendous amount of success with winter sports. Spring sports are coming up. I'm sure your schedule is as crazy as it could get in regards to being an athletic director, especially the fact that you have so many teams still competing in tournaments, and you have to plan the spring sports. So I don't envy you there, sir. But let's talk about some of the upcoming spring sports and which teams you're expecting to stand out.
Well, I think the hard part is to mentally prepare yourself for the spring season. Here we are 2 weeks from today, spring sports. And when I say spring sports, I'm talking lacrosse, baseball, softball, tennis. And, I'm driving up here and there's still, 18 inches of frozen snow on the ground. So it's hard to really get yourself to go to the office and say, okay, let me look at the Fraser Field schedule for the end of March, because it just doesn't seem like it's possible.
Right.
But it's going to have to be possible. We have had good success in the spring as well in years past. I think both of our lacrosse programs, still in the 7th or 8th year of existence, have been building towards more success, and I anticipate that they'll be, better, maybe closer to qualifying for the tournament this year. But that's a step-by-step process that they're going through. On the tennis side, we had a great boys tennis team last year. They made the tournament. Most of those kids are back, so we anticipate that'll be a strong team. Our baseball team went to the North Final. They had good depth last year. They lost a lot of good seniors, so that will be interesting to see how they come back. And our softball team was in the state championship game a year ago and lost a couple of real key players, but has some real good pitching coming back. So, and our track and field team, we had Drew DeMady, who won the state title in the hurdles, and he's back. So again, we'll field 6 to 7 teams, all of which have the potential to go anywhere from competing for a league title to competing for a state title. So it should be an exciting spring when and if it ever gets started.
Good news. I couldn't agree with you more. I definitely want to talk a little bit about St. Mary's as a community, and we'll end it here. But the feel that you get when you walk on campus, everybody's, they're in the uniforms and all that stuff, but you got the flags, the decals. It's St. Mary's there, and I think it's a great atmosphere that you guys have created. I know there's new administration over there, and I'm sure that they've been a part of this. Every day I go to St. Mary's, it just seems like there's been improvement. And a lot of the players have some positive things to say about that, too. I'm sure you've experienced.
Yeah, I think, a couple of years back, maybe 4 or 5 years back, we made the decision that, even though we had all this success, we went to the logo that I have on my chest across the board. And it is on the banners down by the school. It was kind of a branding campaign so that if you go to watch St. Mary's hockey or basketball, lacrosse, or football, you know which school it is because everyone has the same logo. So I think that's kind of built off of it. And we've had good success branding our logo and branding our name. And I think you had alluded to it, when you come on campus, I think the school, one of the best parts of the school, and it always has been, is it's small enough that I think every kid can relate to somebody on the campus, whether it's a coach, a teacher, a custodian, someone in the campus, doesn't matter. It's small enough that if somebody had something they needed help with, whether it be school, anything, I think there's always someone that they could go and talk to. And in a smaller school environment, I think that's one advantage that we maybe have over some of the larger schools.
I think you guys are doing an outstanding job. Keep up the good work. Jeff Newhall, Athletic Director of St. Mary's. Thanks for being here, Jeff. We plan to see you guys have much success throughout the spring and even into the fall. Let's go to the question of the week. You can tweet your answers to our Twitter handle, @Lynn Sportscast, for your chance to win a free pizza from Tony Lena's on Boston Street. Last week's question, Usain Bolt set the world record for the 200-meter in 2009 with a performance of 19.19 seconds. Who holds the 400-meter record and what year did he do it in? Jeff Newhall got this wrong. Actually, nobody answered this question on Twitter this week, so there will be no free pizza. But for those at home who are wondering, it was Michael Johnson in 1999. This week's question, March 2nd, 1962, marks a day which Wilt Chamberlain set the record for most points in a game with 100. On this day, the record for most points in a half was broken with 59. Who set it? You can answer our question at Twitter, @Lynn Sportscast, for your chance to win a free pizza from Tony Lena's on Boston Street. That's our show for today. If you have a sports story or just some feedback, you can visit us at www.LynnCAMTV.com/shows/Lynn MA Sportscast. You can also find us on YouTube and Twitter @Lynn Sportscast. We want to say thank you to all of our guests. That's it for this week's edition of the Lynn MA Sportscast. From the studio here at LynnCAM TV, I'm Sean Donahue.
And I'm Jessica Starbard. Have a great week.
You're watching LynnCAM TV, winner of 2 awards from the Alliance for Community Media Northeast Region's Video Festival, the North Shore Infrastructure, and Outstanding Achievement in Public and Government Access Television.